Hello and welcome to Naval Action. This is BMAQ2-X. It's May 2nd. There are 1,016 people online, 175 battles. It's about 2:15 in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time US. And there was a patch today. Let's cover that real quick. Captains. The following changes were applied today, May 2nd. Raw resource supply. NPC traders continue adjusting, increasing deliveries across the Caribbean when a significant number of ports have zero stock for a specific resource at the end of the day, especially for raw materials required to craft gunpowder. Other fixes. Fixed an issue that prevented linking the Surgeon's Mates module in the chat. Okay, that's relatively minor. But they are continuing to try to fix the resource issue. Hats off for that. Okay, I had a question from Yajamans Vam Krishna 509. Shout out. Can you explain ship refits, please? Like Liverpool refit, etc. I don't understand how they work. Okay. Well, for that, we're going to be here on the Naval Action Map 2 because it has them all listed. Now, this screen has three different things, three different groups of mods on it. There's perks, there's ship build trims, and then there's the refits. Now, the refits are modules that you're gonna loot off of ships that you sink. And each of these refits has different bonuses. And what you need to decide is when you get it and you see the stats that it provides and it affects, is that suitable for you for what you're going to do with your ship? And if it is, you can load it into one of your open module slots on one of your ships. And once you put it there, it's there forever. It's permanent. The only way you can get that slot empty again is to destroy the module. So be sure you want to put the module in that ship before you do it, because once you do it, it's there permanent. You can't pull it back out and use it on a different ship. It's going to be there forever, and you're going to have to destroy it to get it off the ship. So we'll scroll down the list here and kind of glaze over these. The Barber refit, preparation, stay sails power bonuses. This sounds like a fore and aft rig ship, let's say like a privateer, that kind of ship, where you're getting a bonus to your stay sails power, which lets you sail more into the wind to chase down traders or people trying to run from you. And then if you're going to use it to board that ship and capture it, you get a preparation bonus for boarding. So that's good for fore and aft rig ships that board. Bermuda refit, speed and stay sails power bonuses. This is absolutely a fore and aft kind of ship, privateer, trader's links, cutter. Gives you speed and lets you sail into the wind more. So either you're going to be running from people or chasing them down. Gives you speed bonuses. Black Sea refit, mast hit points and splinter resistance. Those are combat bonuses. And one helps your crew and one helps your masts. So if you're if you're regularly in situations where you're getting your sails and your mast shot out from you, you might want this refit because it's going to give you a little bit more strength to your masts, and if people are trying to grape you down or kill your crew, it helps your crew stay unwounded longer, better. Boston refit, armor hit points and square sails power, definitely for a brig or frigate type ship. Gives you bonus to your armor and a bonus to your square sails power. So this would help a lot of ships. Breast refit, cannon down traverse, cannon up traverse, and sail hit points. This would be good on like the Trincomalee, which has that roll issue, and it would help you get your cannons on target without having to depower your sails. So would be nice for any kind of ship that has severe roll issues, and it also makes your sails a little bit stronger. Cartagena refit. This is a straight out combat bonus to make your armor better. This is be really good on a first rate in port battles. Let's see. That's it for that list. Let's go up here. Good Hope refit. Speed bonus, only 1%. This is kind of like a little league speed bonus, but hey, every little bit of speed helps. Liverpool refit, cannon reload time and turn speed. This would be suitable for a ship that you're going to do a lot of like stern camping. You know, you're going to get on the guy's stern and keep turning behind him and raking him. So this would be good for that because you need to have your cannons reloaded for the next rake and you need to have a better turn speed. So a Liverpool refit would be great on a brig or one of the more maneuverable frigates in the game. Madagascar refit, morale and preparation. Definitely a boarding mod. If you're one of these super boarders out there who's going to have like Marines and this on your ship, you're going to be a better boarder. It's going to help you be prepared, and it's going to help your morale of your boarders. Nassau refit, morale and stay sails power. This is like a fore and aft version of this one. You could use this on any ship. And then this one here is more for a fore and aft ship, like a privateer, again, or prince, you know. Because the stay sails power, what they give you is they give you a better ability to sail into the wind, and the morale is purely a boarding buff. Redoubtable refit, barricade melee bonus, and barricade musket defense. Definite boarding. So this redoubtable refit matched with this Madagascar refit is going to make a pretty potent boarding ship. And then you add a couple of perks with that. You know, you're going to be kicking some people's ass boarding. And I think that's it. Yep. Okay. So those are the various refits. And like I said, you're going to be capturing these as you go along, sinking ships in various battles. You're going to be looting them out of holds. And what you use is totally up to you, because your play style is your play style. Does it suit your play style? Well, if it doesn't, then you can sell it, and I'm sure someone that it does suit will be more than happy to buy it off you in the store. So I do hope this helped explain the refits to you. If not, hit me up in comments and I'll try to cover it a little bit more. Let's go and back into the port and I'll show you where you're going to put these refits at. So one moment. Okay, so here we are back in port. Got my Le Gros Venture refit here. And I actually have a refit on there. I have a square sail refit small. And what it does is it refits with additional square sail, increases speed when sailing with the wind. Now this is going to help me with the wind to my back. If I'm sailing into the wind, there's going to be a penalty because my stay sails have a negative 2%. So this may not be the best thing for chasing like trade ships, because trade ships like to run into the wind. They'll pick their best point of sail into the wind and try to run away. This may not be able to catch them, but I'm going to give it a try. I've also put the muskets on here for boarding. So, because what I was planning to do with this was kill or capture trade ships and then, loot them, because this has a bigger hold than most combat ships. This would be a good ship to, go out and kill several trader ships, loot them, then haul everything back after several battles rather than having to come back after one, because your hold is jammed full of stuff. So I'm going to give this a try later today, actually. So we'll see how this works. If this doesn't work, I'll have to, the only way you can get this off is to destroy. You can't drag it back to the warehouse. Watch. I put it here in the warehouse. Nope. Goes right back. The only way you can remove a module is to destroy it. Here, let me take this one off. Nope. So to get these off, you have to destroy them. That's why you wanna make sure that you want that on your ship. So I don't think I have any other refits on here. Stay sail refit. This would be good on a privateer or a pickle. Because these ships, they have all stay sails basically, with maybe one or two square sails. So anything that's fore and aft rig, which basically uses mostly stay sails, is a ship that you would use a stay sail mod on. And then ships like square rig ships, you would want to use a square sail. Now you could put a stay sail one on this, and what it would do is help the ship sail into the wind. If you want to chase traders or people that like to run into the wind, pursuit ships. But again, that's all your personal style. So I hope this explains the refits to you. Now I haven't really captured any of those that we covered in the Naval Action Map 2, because I think in the shallows they don't really give you the good mods, the good modules. It's once you get out into the, start killing the AI and players out in the open world, the not green zone. Once you get out of the green zone, the module drops should improve along with the book drops. I think they're limiting those here to prevent people from staying in the green zone and farming AI just for the modules. I mean, the fact that I was able to get a book off of a ship in the green zone was shocking to me. So that came off of a Lynx of all things. So if word got out that Lynxes had books, you would see all the player base come back into the green zone and be killing every Lynx that moves, just in the hopes of getting those books. That's the way it is. So I do hope this helped explain the issue. I have had another question on one of my videos from Mosley in the Mist 4259, shout out. Can you make a video explaining how to make money through trade and how crafting works to make essentials like cannonballs and powder? Well, I mean, if you've been following my videos from the patch till now, I've been on that path. My goal, crafting wise, was to be able to, because I was, like everyone else, I was shocked at the burn rate of the powder in combat. It was way over what it was on the test server, in my view. There was no way it was the same burn rate as the test server. They increased it, I would say double at least from what it was on the test server. And so when I came here and all of a sudden, I mean, I ran out of powder my first fight. Whereas on the test server, that was more than enough powder. So I was surprised, and so I immediately started down the craft tree just so I can make powder and ball, and I've been focusing on that. You can see here I've got almost 200,000 powder, and I've got 40,000 ball already made. If I want to make more, I just got to go gather the supplies, and I can make it whenever I need. But I've got enough to last me a while. I'm not in any hurry. But the crafting path is structured. You can't just start crafting and make gunpowder the first day. You can't make balls the first day. You have to follow the set path for crafting. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get a workshop. And then the workshop is going to drop the blueprints as you work up the crafting levels. See, in gunpowder, that comes to you at craft level 9 is when you can make gunpowder. So that's when you have the ability to make gunpowder in the game, is craft level 9. But before that, you're going to have to learn how to make oak planks and charcoal and barrels, and you're going to have to open a forge. And there you're going to learn to make iron fittings. Ball ammo comes at craft level 8, so it comes the level before gunpowder. Chain ammo comes at craft level 11. Grape, craft level 10. So in that window is when you get, and then after that, the cannon recipes start dropping. The first cannon recipe is the 4-pound medium. That's at craft level 16. And that's what I wanted out of my crafting, is I want the ability to make my own guns and my own powder and my own ball. That way I don't have to rely, because the market is, let's see what it costs here. Consumables. Gunpowder costs 5. You can make gunpowder for a unit cost of about 1 real. And then there are people selling it. These are people buying it. See how they're trying to lowball the price? In some ports this is in the green zone. This is Nassau. There's a ton of people here crafting. But if you go out into the not green zone, the gunpowder prices are very much more than 5. Okay. Ball ammo out. Let's see if that's just player produced. These are the sellers, and these are the prices for ball, 7 and 8. Ball is less than 2 reals per ball. More like 1 real. Now, chain ammo, the price goes, see how it's 28? It doesn't cost anywhere near 28 to make chain ammo. Grape ammo, 38. Doesn't cost anywhere near 38 to make your own chain and grape. These are player produced, and the players are trying to get rich off of that stuff. Actually, this is not. This is the store price. So you can produce these things for less yourself. You just got to spend the time and the effort to go get the materials. Now, once you get to the level where you can make these things, what does it take? Here's the gunpowder blueprint. So to make gunpowder, you need saltpeter, which is a raw resource. You got to go to a port and buy it. Sulfur, which is another raw resource that you got to go buy. Charcoal, which you craft out of oak logs, and barrels, which you craft out of oak planks, which takes oak logs to make, and then iron fittings, which takes iron ore and charcoal to make. So this crafting this crafting path that you're gonna be set on is gonna make you learn to make all the things that go into further items. So there's no just crafting gunpowder the first day. It doesn't happen. You gotta learn how to make the pieces parts to make the assemblies in the game. And and for me it took about, I don't know, it was like 2 days of hauling and crafting. And I had gunpowder and stuff. It was pretty quick. Now, right now, that might be a little bit more difficult because certain things are tough to get. But they've adjusted the resource drops, and we will see. Maybe in a couple days things will smooth out, and it's also, there's other things, is that people are crafting their, they're going their own craft trees, and so they're trying to buy large amounts of this stuff, and that's why I think the shortage is more a result of player hoarding than the devs not delivering the enough resource. If you go to these shops, what players are doing is they're buying huge amounts and then they're hauling it to ports like Nassau and they're selling it at huge markups. Stone block being sold for 99 each here. Lignum vitae logs 57 each here. Sulfur 37. Sulfur, if you go to the port where it's produced, costs 4. This is what players do to get rich. They buy a huge amount in the resource port, and then they take it somewhere where it can be marked up and sold at a huge cost. They make a huge profit. Fir logs, 50 each. You can get these for 3 at the port where they're made. You just got to be patient. Saltpeter, 100 each. That's just crazy. Oak logs are 17 each. It's like a 15-minute sail or a 10-minute sail away from here. You can get them for 3 each. And that's how I've been making like money, is I'll make a big order of oak logs. I'll sail over there, pick it up, sail it back. I'll craft a bunch of it, and what I got left over, I'll sell. As a matter of fact, I got an email for that right here. Contract for 2440 oak log fulfilled. I think I was selling these for 20 each. Yeah, I was selling for a price of 20 reals. So that's a chunk of money right there. I'm at 475 now. Where am I going to be at once I claim this? 524. So that was almost like 50,000 reals that I made off that deal. Pretty darn close to 50,000 off of one haul. I can haul 3,200 logs each trip. So, and I'm selling them cheap. At 20, it's cheap. What's it? Well, it was cheap. What are these other people selling it for? 17, 18. This guy's at 20. Then it goes all the way up to 40. This is what it cost in the port where it's produced. 3 or 4 reals. And if, I generally pay about 5 because I place buy contracts, and you got to fit your contract in where, there's an opening. So, like every time I go to that port, I don't place a contract. I wait till it's a good time to place a contract. I got patience. So, that was part of his question too. It was like, how do you make money trading? Well, buy raw resources cheap and take it to a port where they're marked up 10 times what you paid for them, you're going to make a profit. And let's transition. Here we are back on the Naval Action Map 2. And another thing you can trade are certain ports drop certain things. So like Georgetown drops fur logs and wool. What's wool? Well, wool is a trading item. So you can get wool at Georgetown for cheap, and then you would go to the trader tool and find out where it's sold for the most, and then you would haul it there and make your profit. And that's how the people get super rich in this game, is they find that magical trading. This one carries no special things. Here, this one has flannel. So you can get flannel dirt cheap at Pedro K, and then you can go on to the naval action map in the game, and you can do the trader tool, and you can search flannel, and you can see where it sells the highest. And if you're willing to haul it from Pedro K to wherever it sells the highest, well, then you can make a damn bunch of money. But the problem is you might have to sail through British waters or, French waters to sell that item. That's the risk involved. And there's people in this game that's all they do is they find the magic trip. They find that magic item that, let's find another item here. Livestock. So at less Ks, you can get livestock. So let me switch back to the game. Okay, here we are back in the game. Bring the map up. Trader tool. Livestock. And then you're going to sell it. So St. George's Town, you can sell it for $5.66 each. Less Ks, you can get it for $2.49. So you can double your money. And all you're going to do is you're going to have to sail it from less Ks, which is here, up here to, where's St. George's Town? Up here in Bermuda. That's a long sail. Is it worth the time to sail it all that way? Go up here. And that's what people do, is they'll mine the map and they'll find the absolute most profitable item to trade with the shortest route, the biggest profit, and then they'll make a killing. That's how some people get to be millionaires in the game. They'll find that super special item that has a short trip, no danger, and huge profit. You can do it with trading goods, and you can do it with the raw resources, So if you want to, like, Williams Bay is where you get oak log. And it was just a short trip for me to go from Nassau to Williams Bay, pick up oak log, come back, use what I needed to use, and then sell my excess, and boom, a quick 50K. No complaints from me, And I'm sure the people that bought the oak log in Nassau were more than happy, because then they didn't have to go anywhere to get it. It was right there for them. They just pay their silvers and use it for their needs. There's a lot of this going on in game, and people are getting rich. So I hope I answered your question. Now, I don't know what the magical item is that you're going to make a bajillion-dollar profit on with no effort and short trip and that no danger of losing your ship. I don't know that. That's for you to go out and find in the game. I just all I'm dealing in right now is just the basic raw resources. I got my warehouse. I I had a large amount of saltpeter and sulfur sitting in these two spots right here. But then one evening I was like, well, let me craft my gunpowder and get it made because I had had a surplus of income because it cost a lot of reals to make this much gunpowder. So it was charcoal, sulfur, saltpeter, and barrels. And I had plenty of all of it. So I went ahead and I made my gunpowder and I'm set. I don't need gunpowder for quite a while. And I don't need cannonballs for quite a while. So now I can focus on getting the resources that I do need. And I'll tell you what, lignum vitae log, in my view, is probably the number one thing that can hold up your crafting progress. Because to make cannons, you need ropes and blocks. To make ships, you need ropes and blocks. And to make ropes and blocks, you need lignum vitae logs. And that has been a tough item to get because of the stacking of buy orders. This is going for at the port that produces it. It was selling for near 30 each, maybe more yesterday. So I think I paid 32 each for my last order, but I only bought like 880. I bought enough to make 1,000 ropes and blocks. So, but that's not going to last me hardly anything. If I craft a bunch of cannons, that'd be gone in a heartbeat. If you're building a ship, you're going to use them like 100 and some chain. Let's look at a recipe for a ship. Right here. Ropes and blocks, 150 a ship. So, you build 4 or 5 ships at this level of a frigate, you're going to burn right through these ropes and blocks. And if you build cannons, it goes faster because cannons, let's look at the biggest I got right now is 9-pound longs. Ropes and blocks. It takes almost 100 ropes and blocks per batch of 12 cannons. And as the cannons get bigger, I bet that number goes up some. So this is one of the most precious trading items going right now. Hemp is another big one. Use hemp a lot. Hemp in shipbuilding, hemp to make ropes and blocks, hemp to make sails, hemp to make grape, hemp makes rig repairs. I would say oak log, lignum vitae log, hemp, iron ore. Those are the 4 big ones that you're gonna burn huge amounts on crafting. So I hope this helps with your question. Oh, I hope that got that. That was cool. Okay, here we are back in port. I took the LaGrosse Venture refit out. Had me about 4 or 5 encounters. I ended up capturing another trader's snow, which I loaded up with all the loot. I was basically targeting trade ships, sinking them, taking the stuff off, and then now I'm going to put it in the warehouse. But the encounters went pretty well. I am going to say that I am not overly pleased with this mod right here, Square Sail Refit, because all the traders run into the wind, and this is a negative for running into the wind. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. The other thing I should have done before I left was redone my perks, because I ended up doing at least one boarding action, and it would have been nice to have some perks to help me with the boarding, because it was a bit of a struggle. One thing I will say is that that secret sauce video, I've taken that down, because that shit don't work. Brace defend, that don't work now. Tried it a couple times during that boarding action, and it was, you either would miss, if you're trying to click at the very last moment, you would either miss it and stay in brace and get pounded, or you would click it and they would still have the best reaction to it. I never got the good benefit out of that trick the entire time during the boarding action. So as soon as I got back in the ocean after that battle, I took that video down. That's no longer there. I've taken several videos down that are no longer relevant. So boarding is more different now. And, the best advantage I had during this thing was the fact that I had so much more crew than the other ship did. I had at least double the crew of what he had. So there was a point where I hit attack, and then I saw he only had 3 crew left, so I was like, leave it on attack. So where I'm at in the game, I stopped at a couple of the resource ports while I was out sailing around. I stopped at Mangrove Cay, and I stopped at Little Isaac Rocks, and I think that's what it's called, Little Isaac Rocks. Yeah. And the orders are still backed up, so as of this moment, the second day into these adjustments they're making into the resources, I'm not seeing any improvement. But hopefully that will happen. Let's take this, put it in the docks, make it the main ship, and we're going to strip it and put it on sail. And one thing during the battle with this, well, no, there was another trader Snow that I attacked. He was running away, and he was far away, and he was out shooting me. He was working my side right down, and then I was trying to shoot back, and because I didn't have any, dispersion perks or anything like that, I had nothing to fix my dispersion soft stats, so my shots were kind of like scattering to the 3 winds, and all of his stuff was right on target. So, next time I go out, I got to remember to redo my perks, because I felt like a disadvantage in every fight because of the perks I had on the ship, and then the perks that that I should have had selected, that I didn't. So let's see what these are going for. $36,000. What? That's just crazy sauce there. So this one here, gonna put up for 26,000. What a bargain. I bet you that shit sails fast. I had 2 other ships that sold. The most recent one was the Trader's Links, that fast Trader's Links that I crafted. I sold that. And then this one is now on sale, and I expect it to not last very long. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I took the Renome out yesterday, and I did a. It didn't come up. What's up? Took the Renome out yesterday, fought it a couple times, fought it one battle. That's what I did, and haven't unlocked anything on this yet. But I've got 2 boxes unlocked on the La Grosse Venture. Two boxes done, and more than halfway to the next one. So what I'm seeing with this ship is heavily affected by the wind from the side, so it's got a roll issue. And these little guns on this deck here are useless at distance, so I generally turn those guns off when I go into battle, and then I wait until I get like really close, and then I'll turn them on. And these things reload super fast, so depending on how much ball ammo you got in the hold, you could burn through your ball ammo way faster using these, because the game don't differentiate between the big guns and the little guns. And if the little guns are reloading, you know, 2 times faster, you're going to fire twice as much out of this and burn through all your balls before you use the ones that do the real damage on the gun deck. So I was, at the beginning of every battle, I would turn these off, and I wouldn't turn them on until I was like from here to the dock from a ship. This gap, you know, when I was this close, then I would use them. But otherwise, turn them off, because they will burn through your balls quicker than you would like. And powder. So, but I had this outfitted for at least 20 broadsides worth, and you know, the appropriate amount of powder. I had brought chain too. I burned all that away. I used 2 repairs, and I fought, I think, in 5 battles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy got away. This one here. This was a trader's cutter, and he just turned to the wind, and he was gone. And I was like, stupid stay sails. Well, it wasn't the stay sails, it was the square sails refit. You know, I was like crawling into the wind in this thing. So definitely need to put some kind of other mods on there. This is pretty much the end of my game tonight. Gonna put a video together and get it put onto the YouTube. Thanks for watching.